जो दिखता है वो बिकता है doesn't apply to me at all because I have many times gone underground for years and then surfaced. There are
Now,
only two
I
ways to unravel. One is to sleep and the other is travel. This was in a song by Jim Morrison. I've got many Oscars for the performances in my bathroom, but unless it's shared, there's no point. Success is going from one failure to another without losing enthusiasm. I cannot go work for them or meet people for them. That doesn't work. I tried it once. It doesn't work for me. I mean, I look insincere doing it. But I still believe in the film and I still believe in Imtiaz in spite of all the criticism. I have no issues. I'll work with him again in a jiffy. Oh, it was a great experience working with Chris. He's a big Aussie, and I've lived in Australia for a long time. Also, it's my third movie with Salman, and we get along well. And let's see how it turns out.
welcome to Speakeasy, Randeep. This has been a while that we've spoken, and look how you're talking right now. You're at your house, I'm at my house, and this is supposed to be the new way of communicating, right? How have you been doing? How's your quarantine going on?
This way, everybody could have got on at any time of the day or night. Um, well, lockdown is treating me well, catching up on things that I had been missing out on. A bit of reading, watching shows, doing some basic back to acting, basic exercises, just feeling like, a new start, a new beginning all over again. So I think this is done well for us.
This is the new way of life, like you put it, right? We have been in quarantine for a while now. What's one thing you've noticed that has changed in you? From the hectic life to this life, I mean, we've all got time to self-reflect. What do you think has changed about you?
I think accepting things as they are a bit more,
Yeah.
having to accept the reality and do what is right instead of, uh, you know, wanting things some other way, making the most of what you have,
Yeah.
which I have done in the past, but I think this is reiterated that that's what we all need to do. It's brought about a bit of chill, a bit more chill, I think, and yeah, bit of introspection, bit of where we've been going as humanity, as a world, as you, So it's all those reflections that come about. Um, yeah, I anyway live in my head a lot, so it doesn't matter where I am.
That's a good way to live.
There are
Now,
only two
I
ways to unravel. One is to sleep, and the other is travel. This was in a song by Jim Morrison, and I think the sleep part is really unraveling now.
you sort of been self-isolating yourself from this Bollywood fraternity for a while, isn't it? So this is not really difficult. You've been really busy in your whole world, haven't you, Randeep? I mean, we've met after a long
I
time.
I have always been a bit like that. My own journey has always been of utmost importance, and everybody's journeys they are, and I often don't feel the need to share it, so to speak, because it's my own journey. Why burden the world with more information than there already is? Um, I've been a bit of a oddball out in Bollywood. Have always been, from my choices to the not taking the beaten path. For example, through this question, "जो दिखता है वो बिकता है" doesn't apply to me at all because I have many times gone underground for years and then surfaced. I almost went underground for 3 years just before this uh, movie of mine. And yeah, so I was doing my own thing. I was working on changing myself as a person for that particular requirement of that script.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, so yeah, it doesn't apply to me. And yes, I have nothing much has changed. I was never much of a socializer with the film fraternity. Otherwise, I'm hanging around with my friends who are not from the film fraternity a lot, almost every evening for a while. And then in the evenings are also taken over by my horses and my dog, and
Yeah.
riding, and spending time at the stables with the Rajasthani boys that work on my horses. Yeah, having a quiet little evening by myself with my dog has always been a very preferable evening.
I must say, you mentioned that you have been taking those gaps and you have been, sort of making your own niche over the years, the way you always had. And of course, you had hurdles, like for example, with the what happened with the Battle of Saharki. You sort of took out a very positive point out of it with what happened with that film, because you put in your entire soul and you put in a lot of effort to that. How did that change you, Randeep? What happened there? And now, post that, how did you look at your film journey once you came out of that?
It was a very conscious decision to start with. I've been very fortunate that after these gaps, I still find work, and directors find me a bit unexplored still after 20 years. It is because of these gaps. Um, well, marta kya na karta, what else could have I done? Had I taken that negatively and had a nasur in my heart and let it fester, it would have just made me a bitter person. It was a failure in the sense, a big failure where you put in so much for 3 years and it does not see the light of the day. It's performing arts is an art of sharing. So unless other people see it, it's of no consequence. I've got many Oscars for the performances in my bathroom, but unless it's shared, it's no point.
That's
So,
true.
so, so that was a big hurdle. That was something very hard to come out of, and I think this hardcore action was a great. Otherwise, it was a big setback to me, but it made me a better person. I could take failure on the chin even more. I have done it in the past, and I think success is going from one failure to another without losing enthusiasm. So I think that has worked in my favor, and I just had to look at it positively. There is no other way. It made me a better person. I think Sikhs are a very spiritual. It's a very spiritual way of thought. So I kept busy through that time. It's not that I was just sitting at home and waiting for it to happen or to finish. Yeah, so only way to look at it is positive, man. There's no other way.
It makes you also realize that in industry, you're always told that you have to be there in the limelight, you have to be in people's memories, and you have to be seen. You Even after that setback of 3 years and all of that, you did not choose that path. You still sort of stuck to what you believe in, that is letting your work do the talking.
Quality over quantity, I don't know. One just tries to do the best they can of the opportunities they get. I choose the best role I can out of the roles that I get. I cannot go work for them or meet people for them. That doesn't work. I tried it once. It doesn't work for me. I mean, I look insincere doing it. So I just whatever mehnat has to go in the time of the work, so that then that carries on. But to point out something very important, I have been very fortunate. I really am very grateful and fortunate that I have been able to do that. But it could have easily not been the case. So it's something you take, it's kind of a risk you take, or you just sit and say, no, this is what my heart says. I'm going to follow it. It's not that I don't listen to people. A lot of people tell me other things, and with their all good intentions. But then one feels that, hey, this is what you really want to do. So just do it. Even if it doesn't go well, at least you tried doing what you felt like doing rather than failing at other people's ideas.
Watch E-Town News Monday to Friday at 9:30 p.m. only on Zoom.